we will work on the front leg first. The objective is to craft a leg to fit this joint. Hopefully, you left your prepared front leg stock about 1/16 of an inch greater than the 2 3/4 inch dimension. Test it to see if it will fit between the rabbets. If not, take it to the joiner and test it again until it fits. Now what we have to do is fit the front legs to the tenons that we made earlier. Your tenon, according to the thickness of the wood that you use, somewhere between 1 3/4 and hopefully as much as 8/4 or 2 inches, your tenon will vary. But you've got to measure the exact thickness of your tenon. And so the best way to do that is with some dial calipers. Really a great measuring tool, because you can measure reality. That's the thickness I need. No matter what the number is, that's the thickness I need. So once you have that thickness, then you're ready to do the layout for your joint. What I want to do is, this is the top of the leg, and I want to measure down 3 inches, which will be the top of the tenon in the joint. And I've already identified the legs as right legs and left legs, and taken them to the joiner to make sure they're the right width to fit inside those rabbets. So I've made a little tick mark here with a small cut line, and now I'm going to make the cut line all the way across. It's always best to work with cut lines. Now, back to the measuring tool. I can lay out one end of the caliper in the top, on the top line, and you can really feel the little indentation there. And then kind of press down, and I made the indentation exactly where I need it for the bottom edge of the dado that I'm going to cut in the front leg. I can stick my marking knife right in that little indentation and pull across. Now, what I need to do is carry that out all the way around the leg and mark out exactly the material that I'm going to be removing. So watch me while I do that. Use good but not expensive marking tools. A good knife that cuts both ways, a wheel-type marking gauge, fractional dial caliper, and an accurate square are what you need. Mark out on all 4 sides as you see me doing. You'll just be marking for depth on the outside of the leg. The marking gauge is set to 1/2 of an inch to mark the depth of your dado. I've got the leg marked out for the dados. Now, where you see an X like this is where is the height that I'm going to need, that 1/2 inch, to cut a dado back in this direction. And here, I'll be cutting a dado in that direction and a dado in this direction. There will be dados on 3 sides. So, when I've cut all 3 of those, then it will fit into the front leg notches and rabbets. You will be kerfing out these dados. Start by raising the blade a little at the time until you have reached the 1/2 inch depth of cut to just scratch the scored depth line. Cut the inside of the leg dado first and give it a test to see if it will fit into the tenon. If I take off more, I try to do it toward the bottom of the leg. Then dado the other 2 sides. If the sides of the dados don't match up, mark the side that you want to cut with a pencil and check the side of the dado after a thin cut to see if you got it. For strength and beauty, the grain flow is best when it follows the curve in the lower leg. Avoid short grain situations when it's possible. Leave just a little of the line when you're bandsawing. The back leg seat and arm joint stems must be flat and 90 degrees to the leg's sides. You can use a well-tuned plane to square this up and bring it in line with the side of the pattern. I'm truing up the leg to the pattern with a good rasp. This is very easy to do, and we have not arrived at a finished surface yet. Lay out the front profile of the back leg and then cut it at the bandsaw. A flexible pattern material will make it easy. You might decide to leave a little more material at the seat joint to make it easier to cut the dados in the leg. find your first dado cut line on the back leg, measure down from the center of the top of the leg to the inside of the seat joint and make a cut line that will be the top of your dado. Then measure the thickness of the seat tenon using the dial calipers and mark a cut line for the bottom of your dado. Now just extend those to the front of your leg on the seat joint stem, and you got it. Make sure you have a right and left leg and mark them. Even hold them up in the right orientation to check the locations of your right and left leg dados. Make a support block to hold the leg at the table saw. Work with its size to get the best support to keep your stock from rocking while you cut the dados. You can also use a piece of plywood attached with some turner's tape to the outside of the leg at the seat joint to provide greater bearing surface while cutting the dado on the inside of the leg. The rule is any safe way that you can. To fit the leg to seat joints, you have to round over the inside edges of the joint. And to do that, we use a rounding over bit on the router table. Now, setting this up is very important because what you have to do is zero out or neutralize the pilot bearing here. And by that, I mean you have to make sure that it's not protruding at all, but that it's very flush with anything that would come by it as you push the wood past it. You also have to make sure that you're getting a full round over. In fact, all of this is to make sure that you're getting a full round over, no bead, nothing less than the entire 3/4 inch round over from the bit. And so you want to make sure that the outside edge of the carbide is touching or flush with your router table surface here. when you round over the inside of the back leg, a problem that you would have otherwise would be as you pull across the router bit there, you would not have enough bearing surface to be able to keep this thing from wobbling and get the nice rounded over cut that you're looking for. So something that you can do is to just double stick tape something that has that surface, a long surface that you can use to run against the fence, and that'll allow you to make the cut. Fitting joints takes time. Just be patient. There are two things at this point that can keep the leg from fitting. One is the depth of the dado. The other is the shoulder roundover on the leg. It's a place for your pragmatism to shine. Use the router plane for the dado depth and a wood block with 100 grit sandpaper wrapped around it to round the shoulders till it all fits. Then, hey, celebrate your victory. You deserve it. Okay, we're ready now to attach the legs to the chair. It's called legging up. We're going to leg up with the first time by just using screws. I use a 1X or a 1XJ. They're really the same thing, just with a little different letter there. Made by Miller Dowell Company. The reason I use this bit is it's stepped, and that allows adjustment with the screws, and it also just seems to work beautifully with these number 10 3-inch Spax screws. They're serrated at the end, and they seem to cut some threads that will allow you to take the chair apart and put it back together several times, which is just what you end up doing when you're building sculptured furniture. So let's get busy with the drill here, and we're going to finish off what we started at the drill press. No glue yet. We're going to put a 3-inch screw in the bottom hole, and if you decide to use the traditional Maloof-inspired 2 screws in the front leg instead of 1, the top screw, use a 2 or a 2.5 inch. That way you won't have a tendency to find it as you sculpture your seat. As you can see, we're legged up now. No glue yet though. We've only put them together, put the legs together with the seat using screws. And that's important because we're going to be taking pieces off, putting them back on. We're going to drill the holes so that we can attach the arms to the front legs. And then we're going to profile with bandsaw and with other tools the front legs to give them that nice sweep, Maloof-inspired look. And then we're going to fit the arm. Let's get busy.